Today I'm going to look at linking workbooks, and so I have here a new workbook in the Tutorial 6 set, the Totals 2013 workbook that I'm going to use to summarize the information from the New Mexico workbook, the Utah workbook, and the Colorado workbook. So if I come down here to my taskbar and I hover over the Excel icon, you'll see that I have 4 workbooks open right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on View on the ribbon, and I am going to click Arrange All. And then I am going to tile my workbooks so that I can see them all in the window that I'm currently working in. The reason why I want to do that is that I'm going to create a formula in the Totals 2013 workbook on the summary page that will use external cell references. In other words, I want to total in cell B6 on the summary page in Totals 2013 all of the adult tickets for the animal habitat. So I'm going to start it out just the same as I would any other formula with an equal sign. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on cell B6 in the summary worksheet of the New Mexico workbook. And you'll see the reference here showing up on my screen as I type. And then I'm going to go ahead and press the plus key on my keyboard. And I'm going to click on the Colorado workbook on the summary sheet in cell B6. Plus again, and finally I'm going to click on the Utah workbook on the summary sheet in cell B6. And there is my total for all of the adult ticket sales for the animal habitat from the 3 locations. I would then repeat that process in C6, which is the children's tickets. So once again, I'm going to start out just with the equal sign. I'll click on C6 in the New Mexico workbook, C6 in the Colorado workbook, and C6 in the Utah workbook. And then enter. And again, for the total sales for adults, I'll follow the same process to summarize that information. And finally, for the children's sales, gotta press the plus sign first, and Colorado, and finally Utah. Okay, so I have that information. I have the animal habitat figures summarized in my Totals workbook now for all 3 locations. If you'll look at the formula here, you'll notice though that my cell references are absolute cell references, which is going to cause me a little bit of trouble when I try to copy these. What I want to do is make sure that my column remains constant, but that my row changes. So I'm going to go ahead and maximize this workbook, and I'm going to edit these formulas by double clicking on the cells where they're contained. Then I'm going to click behind the cell reference and press my F4 key twice so that the column becomes the only absolute in the formula. Then I'll repeat that process for the other three formulas. If I don't do this when I copy the formula, it's just going to repeat. For example, this one will repeat cell D6 over and over again. And I don't want that to happen because that really is no use to me in trying to summarize the information from the other workbooks. So just quickly editing E6. Okay. So now that I've edited those formulas, I can go ahead and select them and copy them to the rest of the cells in the table and have it accurately summarize the information from the three workbooks: New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. Finally, I'm going to add a sum function so that I can total those columns, and my workbook is complete. I would want to go ahead and add formatting, but I'm going to go on to the next step here. So what happens when I change my information in one of the other workbooks? Right now I have all four workbooks open, and I'm going to change the children's ticket total in the New Mexico workbook on the quarter 4 worksheet. So right now for all states the total is 18,962. If I go to the New Mexico workbook and go to the quarter 4 sheet and change that to 2,786, you'll note that the total here updates. But if we go back to the Totals 2013 workbook, you'll note that that total has also updated. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save and close my Totals 2013 workbook for now. And with my New Mexico workbook open, I'm going to go again to the quarter 4 worksheet to cell D8, which is the Space Adventure Adult Ticket Sales. And I'm going to change that to the amount to 435. You'll notice that the total has updated. I'm then going to save and close this workbook as well. I'm going to then open my totals workbook . And you'll notice that these are the same totals that we left with when I closed it before. You'll also notice that you now have a security warning, and this is because of the external cell references. So if I want this workbook to update to reflect the change that I just made in the New Mexico workbook, I have to click Enable Content. And there it has updated. I'm going to go ahead and save another version of this workbook and call it Audited Totals 2013. And I'm going to leave the workbook open. And I'm now going to go to the Data tab. And what I'm going to do is break the links to the other workbooks. So I'm going to go to Edit Links in the Connections group on the Data tab. I'm going to click on Break Link, and then I'm going to click here, I'm going to click Break Links to break all of them, and then close the dialog box. Now if I click in cell B6, it shows only the value. So essentially what I've done is taken those formulas and converted them to just the value. I'm going to go ahead then and save and close this file. And in the next video, I'll look at creating an Excel workspace.